ExamPrep.School. Wisconsin State-Specific Property Insurance Exam, Exam Code 22-6. There are 6 practice exams in this series. This video covers Practice Exam 1. The first 20 questions are free. In this video, we will be covering the following major categories for Practice Exam 1. Federal regulation, licensing, state regulation, WI statutes, rules common to property insurance, WI statutes, rules pertinent to property insurance. Let's walk through the format. I'll read each question and its choices. Let's get started. Question 1. Under Wisconsin statute, Chapter 628, what is the primary objective of the producer licensing framework? A. Ensuring licensed producers maintain minimum net worth and surplus levels. B. Protecting the public by verifying that insurance producers meet competency and ethical standards. C. Regulating premium rates and policy forms filed by insurers. D. Administering the Wisconsin Insurance Security Fund to cover insurer insolvencies. A countdown circle appears in the top right. Once it completes, the answer is revealed. You can pause at any time if you'd like longer to think. If you'd like additional practice covering more topics, see the description for our book. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that Chapter 628 establishes licensing requirements to ensure insurance producers demonstrate necessary competency and adhere to ethical standards, thereby safeguarding consumers. Reason A is not correct. This option is incorrect because Chapter 628 addresses licensing qualifications, not financial strength or surplus requirements. Reason C is not correct. This option is incorrect because regulation of premium rates and policy forms falls under insurer regulation statutes, not producer licensing. Reason D is not correct. This option is incorrect because the Insurance Security Fund deals with insurer insolvency, not producer licensing requirements. Question 2. Under Wisconsin statutes, which activity requires an individual to hold an insurance producer license? A. Providing quotes of premium rates for various property insurance coverages. B. Referring a prospective buyer to an insurer's website to review policy options without commentary. C. Explaining the steps for filing a property damage claim under a fire policy. D. Transmitting a completed insurance application form to an insurer at the applicant's request. The correct answer is A. Providing quotes of premium rates is considered insurance solicitation under Wisconsin law, which mandates a producer license for that activity. Reason B is not correct. Referral without commentary is a ministerial task that does not meet the statutory definition of soliciting or selling insurance. Reason C is not correct. Describing claims procedures as a post-sale informational service not classified as a producer activity requiring license for solicitation or sale. Reason D is not correct. Forwarding an application without engaging in endorsement or negotiation is a clerical function not requiring a producer license. Question 3. John is an unlicensed clerk at a Wisconsin insurance agency. In his daily duties, he completes insurance applications based on customer information, calculates personalized premium quotes using the agency's rate software, and mails out policy renewal reminder notices. Which of John's activities constitutes acting as a producer and therefore requires a Wisconsin insurance producer license? A. Calculating and providing personalized premium quotes to clients. B. Completing insurance application forms based on information provided by clients. C. Mailing policy renewal reminder notices to existing policyholders. D. Collecting customer personal data for use on blank application forms. The correct answer is A. Providing personalized premium quotes is considered negotiation of insurance terms and constitutes acting as a producer under Wisconsin law, requiring a license. Completing forms, mailing notices, and collecting data are clerical tasks that do not involve soliciting or negotiating coverage. Reason B is not correct. Filling out applications per customer data is a clerical function, not negotiation or solicitation. Reason C is not correct. Sending renewal reminders is an administrative task and does not involve offering or negotiating coverage. Reason D is not correct. Gathering client information for forms is non-licensed clerical work, not contracting or negotiating insurance. Question 4. Under Wisconsin law, when does a property lines insurance producer license expire? A. Every year on the last day of the licensee's birth month. B. Every 2 years on the last day of the licensee's birth month. C. Every 2 years on the anniversary of a license issuance. D. Every 2 years on December 31st. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is that property lines producer licenses expire every 2 years on the last day of the licensee's birth month, under Wisconsin Statute Chapter 628. Reason A is not correct. Licenses do not renew annually but on a biennial cycle. Reason C is not correct. Renewal timing is tied to the birth month, not the issuance date. Reason D is not correct. Renewal is based on the birth month rather than a fixed calendar date. Question 5. How many total continuing education hours, including ethics, must a Wisconsin property lines insurance producer complete for each renewal period? A. 12 hours total, including 3 ethics hours. B. 18 hours total, including 2 ethics hours. C. 24 hours total, including 3 ethics hours. D. 24 hours total, including 6 ethics hours. The correct answer is C. The correct requirement is 24 hours of continuing education every 2 years for property lines producers, which must include at least 3 hours of ethics. Reason A is not correct. 12 hours is below the mandated minimum for the biennial renewal period. Reason B is not correct. Both the total hours and the ethics hours are less than required by statute. Reason D is not correct. While the total meets the requirement, the ethics hour component exceeds the statutory minimum. Question 6. Jordan's insurance producer license expired because Jordan failed to complete the required continuing education CE credits by the renewal deadline. Which consequence applies under Wisconsin law? A. Jordan must retake the state licensing exam before the renewal can be processed. B. Jordan is subject to a civil fine assessed by the Office of the Commissioner of Insurance. C. Jordan's license is placed on inactive status until CE requirements are satisfied and any assessed late fees are paid. D. Jordan's excess CE hours automatically roll over to the next renewal period to offset the deficiency. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is that the license is placed on inactive status until the missing continuing education hours are completed, and any late fees assessed for the renewal period are paid in accordance with Wisconsin statutes governing license maintenance. Reason A is not correct. Wisconsin law does not require retaking the licensing exam for missing CE. Reinstatement requires completing CE and paying fees. Reason B is not correct. While fees may be assessed for late renewal, a civil fine by the office is not the standard penalty for incomplete CE. Reason D is not correct. Wisconsin does not allow CE hours to roll over. Missing hours must be completed before reactivation. Question 7. Under Wisconsin insurance law, which of the following is a statutory ground for suspending an insurance producer's license? A. Failure to maintain errors and omissions insurance coverage. B. Willful misrepresentation of a material fact on the license application. C. Notifying the commissioner of a change in business address more than 30 days late. D. Accepting a commission from an insurer not authorized to transact business in Wisconsin. The correct answer is B. This option is correct because Wisconsin statutes expressly list willful misrepresentation of a material fact in the license application as a specific ground for suspension of an insurance producer's license. Reason A is not correct. Maintaining errors and omissions coverage is an ongoing requirement, but its lapse is addressed through fines or corrective orders rather than immediate license suspension. Reason C is not correct. Late notification of an address change is subject to administrative penalties, but is not enumerated as a suspension ground. Reason D is not correct. Accepting commissions from an unauthorized insurer may be an unfair trade practice, but is not specifically listed as a statutory basis for suspension. Question 8. Under WSA Stat, Section 601.02, which of the following reflects a core general duty of the Commissioner of Insurance? A. Establish mandatory premium rates for all lines of insurance offered within the state. B. Examine and report on the financial soundness of insurers and the performance of their market conduct. C. Act as a mediator in private disputes between policyholders and insurers to enforce claim payment. D. Approve the issuance of industrial development revenue bonds on behalf of municipal authorities. The correct answer is B. The Commissioner is statutorily required to examine insurers' financial condition and market conduct under Section 601.02, while the other options exceed or mischaracterize the Commissioner's core duties. Reason A is not correct. Establishing mandatory premium rates for all insurance lines is not a general duty. The Commissioner reviews rates but does not set mandatory levels for every line. Reason C is not correct. Mediating private disputes between policyholders and insurers is not a statutory role for the Commissioner. Reason D is not correct. Approving industrial development revenue bonds is a function outside the Commissioner's insurance regulatory authority. Question 9. According to Wisdusser Stat, Section 601.63, when conducting a formal administrative hearing, the Commissioner of Insurance has the power to A. Negotiate settlement agreements enforceable as consent judgments in lieu of administrative orders. B. Levy punitive damages against insurers found in violation of Wisconsin insurance law. C. Delegate judicial review of orders directly to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. D. Administer oaths, compel attendance of witnesses, and require the production of documents. The correct answer is D. Under Section 601.63, the Commissioner's hearing authority includes administering oaths and subpoena powers for witnesses and documents. The other options exceed the scope of administrative hearing powers. Reason A is not correct. While settlements may be negotiated, the specific power to enforce consent judgments in lieu of administrative orders is not granted. Reason B is not correct. The Commissioner may impose civil penalties but not punitive damages in administrative hearings. Reason C is not correct. Judicial review of administrative orders proceeds through the Circuit Court, not direct delegation to the Supreme Court. Question 10. Following a complaint of repeated premium misallocation by a Wisconsin property insurance producer, an OCI examination confirms multiple violations of license law. Under Teacher 628, which administrative penalty may the Commissioner impose directly against the producer? A. Order restitution of misallocated funds. B. Suspend the producer's license indefinitely. C. Issue a cease and desist order. D. Refer the producer's case for criminal prosecution. The correct answer is C. This option is correct because EH 628 authorizes the Commissioner to issue cease and desist orders to halt unlawful practices. Other listed measures require separate procedures. Reason A is not correct. Ordering restitution is not among the administrative penalties the Commissioner may impose directly. Reason B is not correct. This sanction is a disciplinary action but not classified as an administrative penalty under WAC 628. Reason D is not correct. Referral for criminal prosecution falls outside the administrative penalty spectrum and is not imposed by the Commissioner. Question 11. An insurer suspects that a producer has misrepresented policy terms and submits preliminary evidence to OCI. Before issuing any formal notices under SAYAS 628, when may the commissioner initiate an enforcement action against the producer? A. Immediately upon receipt of a written complaint. B. Upon filing of a bond by the licensee. C. Following unsuccessful mediation between the parties. D. After determining reasonable grounds exist to believe a violation has occurred. The correct answer is D. This option is correct because the commissioner must first find reasonable grounds suggesting a violation of licensing statutes before initiating administrative proceedings. Reason A is not correct. A consumer complaint alone does not provide sufficient legal basis without an investigation yielding reasonable grounds. Reason B is not correct. Bond filings relate to licensing requirements, not triggers for enforcement proceedings. Reason C is not correct. Mediation is not required before OCI may commence an enforcement action. Question 12. Which of the following best describes the primary purpose of the Wisconsin Insurance Security Fund? A. To provide emergency loans and capital support to insurers encountering temporary liquidity shortages. B. To protect policyholders and claimants when an insurer becomes insolvent by covering unpaid claims. C. To underwrite reinsurance for domestic insurers to stabilize premium rates. D. To finance the administrative operations of the Office of the Commissioner of Insurance. The correct answer is B. The Wisconsin Insurance Security Fund exists to safeguard policyholders and claimants by paying covered claims when an insurer is declared insolvent, ensuring continuity and trust in insurance contracts. Reason A is not correct. Emergency loans to insurers are not provided by the Security Fund. Its role is limited to claim payments after insolvency. Reason C is not correct. The fund does not act as a reinsurer. It pays existing claims rather than underwriting coverage. Reason D is not correct. Administrative operations of the insurance office are funded through fees and assessments, not the Security Fund. Question 13. After discovering their home insurer has been declared insolvent and placed into liquidation following a severe hailstorm loss, the Davis family files a proof of claim with the Wisconsin Insurance Security Fund. What protection does the fund provide? A. Payment of covered losses up to the original policy limits and statutory maximum per claim. B. Reimbursement of unearned premiums withheld during the liquidation process. C. Coverage for punitive damages awarded above the original policy limits. D. Guarantee of replacement coverage at the insolvent insurer's original policy rates. The correct answer is A. The Wisconsin Insurance Security Fund protects policyholders and claimants by paying valid covered losses of an insolvent insurer up to the original policy limits and a statutory maximum per claim under state law. Reason B is not correct. The Security Fund does not reimburse unearned premium. Unearned premium refunds are handled by the insurer's liquidator, not the fund. Reason C is not correct. Payments for punitive damages above policy limits are excluded. The fund only covers losses that fall within the policy's covered perils and limits. Reason D is not correct. The fund does not issue or guarantee new policies. It only settles covered claims on existing policies of insolvent insurers. Question 14. What is the primary rationale for imposing risk-based capital requirements on insurers under Wisconsin regulation? A. To guarantee policyholder premium refunds when rates are excessive. B. To standardize the form and content of property insurance policies. C. To ensure insurer capital and surplus levels are adequate relative to risk exposure. D. To protect insurer shareholders from losses due to underwriting risk. The correct answer is C. The correct answer is to ensure that insurers maintain capital and surplus levels commensurate with their risk profiles, thereby safeguarding the ability to meet policyholder obligations. Reason A is not correct. Premium refunds address rate regulation consumer protections, not insurer capital sufficiency. Reason B is not correct. Standardizing policy forms relates to policy filing requirements, not solvency capital adequacy. Reason D is not correct. Shareholder protection is not the focus of solvency requirements. They aim to protect policyholders. Question 15. Under Wisconsin Administrative Code, INS 53.11, if an insurer's risk-based capital falls below the company action level, the insurer must file a plan to restore capital within which timeframe? A. Within 15 calendar days. B. Within 30 calendar days. C. Within 60 calendar days. D. Within 45 calendar days. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is within 45 calendar days, as required by the state's company action level provisions, to ensure timely restoration of capital. Reason A is not correct. A 15-day deadline is too short and does not align with the model company action level timeframe. Reason B is not correct. A 30-day period is not the prescribed interval for submitting a capital restoration plan under INS 53.11. Reason C is not correct. Allowing 60 days exceeds the regulatory limit and would delay corrective action. Question 16. Under Wisconsin property insurance regulation, insurers must submit rate filings to the commissioner and may implement rates immediately upon filing. This system is known as A. Prior approval, B. Flex rating, C. Use and file, D. File and use. The correct answer is D. The correct answer is file and use, under which rates become effective immediately upon filing with the commissioner while still requiring formal submission. Reason A is not correct. Prior approval requires commissioner sign-off before rates can be used. Reason B is not correct. Flex rating applies only to limited rate adjustments, not general filing procedures. Reason C is not correct. Use and file permits use first and filing later, the inverse of file and use. Question 17. An insurer plans to introduce a revised dwelling fire policy endorsement that modifies an exclusion clause. Under Wisconsin law, which filing requirement applies to this new endorsement form before it is issued to policyholders? A. File and use permitting immediate use upon filing, subject to disapproval within 30 days. B. Prior approval requiring express authorization by OCI before any use. C. Use and file, allowing use first and filing within 30 days afterward. D. No filing since endorsements are exempt from OCI review. The correct answer is A. Wisconsin employs a file and use system for policy forms and endorsements, permitting immediate use when filed and allowing OCI up to 30 days to disapprove. Reason B is not correct. Wisconsin does not require prior express approval before using filed forms. It uses file and use, not prior approval. Reason C is not correct. Use and file implies filing after initial use without immediate regulatory review, which does not match Wisconsin's file and use process. Reason D is not correct. Endorsements are not exempt. They must be filed and are subject to review under the file and use system. Question 18. A producer reviews a homeowner policy draft and notes multiple sentences loaded with legal jargon. Under Wisconsin regulations, what is the maximum Flesch-Kincaid reading grade level allowed for consumer-facing policy forms? A. 8th grade level maximum. B. 12th grade level maximum. C. 10th grade level maximum. D. No specific grade level limitation. The correct answer is C. Wisconsin law mandates that policy forms for consumers must not exceed a 10th grade reading level under the Flesch-Kincaid standard to ensure clarity. Reason A is not correct. Wisconsin sets the ceiling at the 10th grade level, not the 8th grade level. Reason B is not correct. Allowing up to 12th grade complexity would exceed the statutory requirement to limit policy language to 10th grade. Reason D is not correct. There is a specific readability requirement. A maximum grade level is defined by statute. Question 19. Which of the following best describes the fiduciary duty a Wisconsin insurance producer owes concerning premiums collected from a client? A. Hold premium funds in a separate fiduciary trust and remit them to the insurer as authorized. B. Commingle premium funds with business operating funds if held fewer than 5 business days. C. Guarantee a minimum rate of return on invested premium funds before remittance. D. Retain premium funds as producer compensation until the insurer issues the policy. The correct answer is A. The correct answer reflects the requirement that producers treat premiums as trust funds by keeping them distinct from personal and operating accounts and forwarding them promptly. Other options describe impermissible practices such as commingling, investing premiums, or withholding funds as compensation. Reason B is not correct. Wisconsin law strictly prohibits commingling premium funds with business operating funds regardless of the holding period. Reason C is not correct. There is no provision allowing producers to invest or guarantee returns on premiums before they are remitted to insurers. Reason D is not correct. Withholding premiums for compensation conflicts with the duty to hold and remit funds in trust. Question 20. Under Wisconsin insurance regulations, when an insurance producer receives premium payments from applicants, into which type of account must those funds be deposited? A. A segregated fiduciary trust account separate from the producer's business operating accounts. B. A joint business account established with the insurer for policy issuance. C. The producer's personal checking account provided records are maintained. D. Any interest-bearing account so long as deposit occurs within 1 business day. The correct answer is A. This option correctly states that Wisconsin requires producers to place premium funds into a distinct fiduciary trust account, preventing commingling. The other options describe prohibited or unapproved deposit practices. Reason B is not correct. Using a joint account with the insurer does not satisfy the requirement for a separate fiduciary trust account. Reason C is not correct. Depositing premiums into a personal account constitutes impermissible commingling. Reason D is not correct. Wisconsin does not permit deposit into any interest-bearing account without explicit insurer or regulatory approval. Enjoyed this practice test? Tap like, hit subscribe, and share it with a classmate. Got a question we should tweak? Comment below, we read them all. Find full practice exam books in the description or at ExamPrep.School.